Open your eyes.
If you are wondering why everything going on in the world feels so terribly off, then you have come to the right place. A veil has been put over the eyes of humanity. Evil people in high places have been hiding the truth in plain sight and building a false reality on lies and deception for far too long. And now, their time is coming to an end. It's time to fight back, to wake up, and to begin an uprising. Now is a time for judgment.
This is a time for judgment. Welcome to today's show. I know everybody out there is probably getting sick and tired of hearing all these stories about eating bugs and being happy, including coming from me, because I'm not the only one reporting on it. And now a lot of people are covering all the stuff that's actually happening. More and more people are waking up. So we all know that their plan is obviously to eliminate meat, to eliminate food, normal food that we know of, because we see the food shortages, et cetera, going on. And of course, to promote eating bugs and these other things. And they know that half of society in America are lunatics, so they'll do whatever they're told. And then they know the other side, of course, is going to push back. But part of their plan has been promoting crickets and other bugs, eating them as snacks in the EU and in America. And well, they didn't get the results they wanted, because they were hoping there'd be a bigger transition to, selling crickets for cheap versus buying potato chips or some other snack, which isn't good for you, but you get the point. They were trying to transition people that way. And not a lot of people were buying into it. They're trying to tell people, steak for dinner? Why don't you just marinate a cockroach and throw it on the grill? People weren't really buying it. So what they're doing instead, since nobody wanted to buy it, is they're putting it in your food without telling you. You're gonna eat bugs one way or the other. And the EU authorities have put crickets and mealworms in food. That's right. They have put it in food without telling people. They've just done it. According to a report, the European Commission approved on January 6th the use of house crickets in powdered form as an ingredient for several food items. The go signal from the EC, the European Commission, was in response to a 2019 application filed by the Vietnamese-based insect protein company Cricket One. Food producers can now include partially defatted and powdered bugs following the move. So when you're thinking you're eating something and it's got flour in it, they're going to put it in there. They're not going to write crickets. They're going to maybe put it in a different language, different wording. But the European Commission permitted the addition of cricket powder in the following food items over in Europe: pizzas, pasta-based products, nuts and oil seeds, snacks and sauces, meat preparations and soups, multigrain bread and rolls, crackers and breadsticks, cereal bars, dry premixes for baked products, biscuits, processed potato products, as in potato chips, vegetable-based dishes, whey powder, maize flour-based snacks, beer-like beverages, and chocolate confectionery. So that's just a few that they're telling you about. They're not going to tell you, of course, that if you're struggling to breastfeed, that they're putting it in things like formula too, because why would they tell you that? Because then people might get upset. And their end game, of course, is to have people eating bugs. So what they'll start to do then is make people sick, of course, with the food. But eating bugs at this point in our food isn't going to make us any sicker than the weed killer and the other crap that they put in it. But this will be a nice way that they can start transitioning people, right? They'll just have people will be eating this. They'll be like, you didn't even know you were eating cricket flour? Why buy regular flour anymore at the store? Didn't you know flour hurts the climate? But cricket flour don't, and you didn't even notice the difference. And people who are zombies will be like, you know what? I didn't notice the difference. I guess I'm going to go get that cricket flour now. Hey, did you know that you aren't just eating a steak? I'm not. Tell me more. You're eating steak covered in cockroach urine and worms ground up into barbecue sauce. What? Oh, okay. Maybe next time I'll just have a cockroach or a worm, huh? They are hell-bent on getting this inside of people's bodies, along with obviously something else we know about. But they're hell-bent on normalizing the eating of bugs. See, they realize that if they just keep coming out and telling you that you can't eat meat, while liberals will pretend that I agree and go along with it. We know that the majority of these people are going to McDonald's every day and stuffing their faces. They need to, figure out other ways to get people on board. Of course, I'm sure the price for this stuff, they'll price people out of the market for a lot of things like they're doing with eggs now, but worms will be available. There'll be ways that they do it subtly, and people will get desensitized to the grossness that is eating bugs, because these people have already been desensitized to the grossness of the things we see going on in our society, specifically in libraries and schools these days. So they know that they can get people to do it. It's just a question of, can a lot of these gluttonous liberal people who, you're not a gluttonist or whatever, you eat fast food sometimes or whatever you decide to eat, your business, not mine. But we know a lot of these people are, are pigs, right, for the most part. And we know that they love, that type of food, because you could just tell kind of by how they look. I mean, you could also tell other things about how they look, because different species of human, but nonetheless, how can they start transitioning? These are ways that they will do it. So the commission's positive response to Cricket One's application was backed up by the scientific opinion of the European Food Safety Authority, EFSA, which verified and approved the safety of the new powder. The EU's food regulator also approved the powder production process, which begins with a 24-hour testing period for the crickets. I mean, can you believe I'm even talking about this? People 100, I get it that John the Baptist, is eating locusts and bugs and stuff like that. It's a little bit of a different time period too, right? And obviously John the Baptist is close to as perfect as you can get, other than Jesus, of course. But I mean, let's not make comparisons there when we have a society now that can farm, we can grow, we can do a lot of things, whether we use machinery or not. It's just a matter of they don't want you to have those things. They want you to eat like this, because this is not a healthy way to eat. But they're going to tell you that it is. And of course, they've brainwashed people into thinking that meat is suddenly bad for you. And they make up things as far as statistics with meat and obesity and meat with heart attacks and meat, But meanwhile, we all know the data that they're giving is obviously from other things they're doing in the air, dropping from the sky, coming out of those big poles that, help your phone go faster. We know that a lot of the problems are coming from those things as well as other things that people are putting in their body, but can't talk about that, of course. And by that, of course, I mean food, wink, wink. So they'll just convince people over and over again that these things are good for them. So the insects, after the 24-hour fasting period for the crickets, the insects are then frozen, washed, and thermally processed. The resulting product is then processed one more time to remove oils and then transformed into dried up powder. Also on January 6th, they love that date, by the way, the EC approved the introduction of lesser mealworm larvae in frozen paste, dried and powdered form to the consumer food market. The EFSA likewise deemed lesser mealworms as safe for human consumption, aside from being an ingredient. It will also be used as a food supplement. So, yeah, instead of ketchup, use a little ground up worm, man. Come on. The new regulations regarding this will take effect by the end of January. Food containing these insect products, however, will require appropriate labels. Some researchers believe these food items could cause reactions in consumers allergic to dust mites. Okay, that sounds great. People, oh man. And somebody allergic to dust mites. There's dust mites in your food. So, okay. Well, I'll eat it anyway because I don't want I don't want a cow fart to affect the carbon footprint of mine. Whew. The 2 insect preparations will join a list of insect foods approved by the EC, including the larvae of the yellow mealworm beetle and dried locust powder. Moreover, 8 other insect products are still being evaluated by the commission. They probably picked locusts just to even put as in this press release, just because the Christians will be like, well, John the Baptist, okay, all right, I'll eat it. I mean, and that's just like, it's not about that. Like, some people just look at this stuff and they're like, well, Christians did do this back in the day. Okay, well, when you see the government trying to destroy and take everything from us and force us to eat things like this when we could eat things that are much, much healthier because we have the ability to grow and farm and do all this type of stuff, we'd probably rather go that route, than eating these grotesque things that 99% of people step on, right? But now, when you see a beetle crawling in your basement, at least if you're a liberal, you just pick it up and eat it. you know? Or you could turn it into your next, you could just put it on top of a cracker. You know what I mean? Because, oh, wait, the crackers already contains the powder from the worm, so what's the difference, right? Unbelievable. The commission's disposal of insects as food mirrors that of the World Economic Forum. The globalist group, under the leadership of its founder, Klaus Schwab, has been pushing the consumption of insects instead of meat, which it alleges is bad for the climate. Unbelievable. A July 2021 article of the World Economic Forum website touted the supposed benefits of insects over conventional protein sources, outlining several reasons why. So when they push it and tell you it's better for you and all this stuff, and they don't see people following along because they could still go to the store and get meat, well, then they're going to start putting in your food. They're going to get used to the taste of it, or they're just going to say, hey, you haven't even noticed it. So give it a try. Give it a try. And people will continue to be brainwashed into all of this disgusting stuff that's going on. And this is right at the top. I mean, anybody who's looking forward to eating insects and bugs, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you might as well go on Fear Factor if that show's still on. You know? I mean, let's think about this realistically, about the elite's agenda here. We just heard them at the World Economic Forum literally say that if everybody stopped eating meat, we could save the planet. And saying that people will stop eating meat and they'll make artificial food that tastes better than meat. Oh, okay. So I'm sure it'll probably taste like adrenochrome for them. They'll make an artificial version of it because they would never, they need to consume all that as much as they can. And then they'll get people used to the taste of adrenochrome and putting it in the food. And then they'll just feel like, hey, we have real adrenochrome, right? See how this stuff works? That's the road we're headed down, whether people want to believe it or not. Hopefully I'm not here to see it, but I am still here to see some of this lunacy. Absolute lunacy. We're in a world in 2023 where we're literally constantly bombarded with the talk of eating bugs. This isn't like passively where it's like, oh yeah, did you hear the kid ate, someone's son ate worms in the playground? Or, oh, some crazy chef in a third world country is feeding people snails or, whatever, right? Which is now considered a delicacy. No. This is day to day where they're telling us that we have to eat bugs. We better eat bugs. The world is going to end if we don't eat bugs and stop eating meat. And we're going to put it in your food whether you like it or not. And we're going to make sure you can't grow anything and you have to get processed food at some point. So you'll be eating bugs anyway and we'll win. But in the end, they don't win. These people are sick and they're demented. And this is clearly a major agenda that people continue to think is a big joke. It is not. The food shortage is real. The fertilizer shortage is real. All these things are conveniently happening, and they're able to point a finger at the two boogeymen. The stuff going on in Ukraine apparently has ended the world's food supply, right? The whole world, who knew? Every country was running based on getting food supply and wheat from Ukraine. I had no idea. I guess, we're all stupid and they're so smart. And on top of that, of course, they blame the climate because we know they have the ability to cloud seed and create rain if they want, like they did in Vietnam. Operation Popeye, but why would they do that? That's crazy conspiracy talk, even though it's government documented. So, yeah, pretty sick, huh? Reminder, check out the website, atimeforjudgment.com. I hope to see more people over there. A lot of great information being shared over there. Hope to see more of you in the forum as well, putting up great content, sharing your channels. And thanks again, everybody, for being here. Make sure you sub to my backup channels if you haven't. They are pinned in the comment section and in the description box. This channel, again, is one strike away from being terminated, so it's very important that if you haven't, that you do sub to those channels, because one day you'll wake up, you'll forget who I am, or I was, or whatever, and you'll probably search, you'll be like, he's not around, I guess they got him, and I'll be on a different channel with a different name. So please do so now if you haven't. I'd appreciate it. I thank you again. God bless all of you and your families.